live. We're goofy. We're here. This is Real and Ron. I'm Lynn, and you are...
And I'm Brian.
And you're Brian, and who are you? Tammy! Oh, my gosh. Thank you, Tammy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Hey, Brian.
Hey.
It's been a long week. I'm glad we're here. It's... I hope everybody liked our rewind replays. And I actually enjoyed watching a few of those. So thank you, everybody, for being here. How was your camping and your trip?
I was away from technology and everything, so I was disconnected from life for a while. So it was good. Yeah,
it is nice to get back to nature and back to the chaos of or the days before having cell phones and electronics and things like that. Just to get one with nature. So absolutely. So today we're going to talk about lessons learned from Memorial Day weekend.
Yep.
So that's a good topic.
I mean, I'm talking like days ago, not like years past, because that, it's we always, if you're present to what's going on, you can always learn something. It's just a matter if it's there long enough to stick or for you to apply anything.
Yeah. Well, Memorial weekend normally is just the beginning of summer, as well as, people serving our country past and what the purpose of having that holiday. And then bring it forward to the fact that, people start going on vacation and people start doing different things. And so it just, it reminds you just a year older. I'm a pre-senior now, so things are different now than when they were back in the day. But temperatures are different. Usually the pool is up. So we had both my daughter's pool and our pool are up and filled, and spending time with the kids. Usually before I leave town, it's a big deal to acknowledge and send love to my kids and things like that before getting out the road. And so you can never be too prepared for what's going on and what you're doing. So I didn't travel on the weekend. I left on Tuesday. So it was kind of nice reflecting just on past holidays, but knowing that it's different this year, with the way the world is going, with a lot of things are still being affected, like chips in vehicles, and a lot of different things are different than they used to be. Gas prices and pools. I mean, like my daughter bought a pool 2 years ago for $900. It's now valued at $3,000. And chemicals for pools. I mean, just different things are so much different now than in the past, which reminds you that's why you stay in the now for right now and you deal with whatever's going on right now, because everything does change. Just like Memorial is a different season, a different holiday, where it starts out the summer for most people traveling.
Right. Well, and it's like if those things become a burden, I mean, there's an opportunity cost to everything. And so if somebody's going to complain or whatever about it, well, then don't travel or don't put those chemicals in your pool or have a pool alone. I mean, there are things that we can't control, but what we can't control is our choices. And the choice is I'm going to travel or I'm going to have a pool at my house. Well, just like dogs. Well, I didn't know dogs were going to cost so much. Well, what did you think was going to happen? Right? Like, it's the root of all of that is where you find what it really is, and it's like you either take ownership of it and choose it or you don't. But I don't want to hear complaints, right? Yeah. Because it's like, well, what do you think was going to happen? Oh my God, kids are a lot of work or dogs are a lot of work. Well, yeah. I mean, what do you think was going to happen? Like,
we got two Scotts in the house. Scott Ricard.
Hey, what's
together,
up, man?
And we got Mr. Lipflux here.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So thanks for being here, Scotts.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we should always be thinking positive things, but there's always positive with negatives. That's just how life is. You can't have negative without positive and vice versa.
I have an aunt where I try to stay away from her just because it's always she's always in everybody else's business, but then she never stays in her own, right? And I mean, my mom is the youngest of one. My mom's the youngest of 13 kids. Okay, and based on when they were raised, is that you respect your elders, you respect your elders and brothers and sisters. Well, that works, but when you're disrespected or when they insult you or make you feel like less, that doesn't work in the real world. And my aunt still feels that it's like, well, she could talk to my mom in any which way that she wants, and my mom is just supposed to take it without really sharing her piece. Well, that might have worked when you're 10, but when you're close to 70 years of age, that crap don't work anymore, right? And so my aunt always had this issue where she had a 4-cylinder car, and she lived like an hour away from where my mom lives, and she would complain about it all day long. There's a reason why she's going to hold back in life is because of gas prices. It's a 4-cylinder car. She goes nowhere. She doesn't take vacations. I mean, good Lord. I mean, what does she spend her money on? Right. And here she's complaining about gas prices. Well, it doesn't really matter because you don't go anywhere anyway. So that kind of stuff doesn't work for me, because if you're going to be held back by life based on gas prices, and I know that that's not what we're saying here, but if anybody says that and it's tradition, whenever the summer traveling season happens, gas prices go up.
Oh yeah,
that happens all the time. It's no surprise, right? So, like, if we take that same kind of mindset and we apply it to what's up, Mr. Casey? What if we take that same mindset to be like, oh my God, taxes are going to go up, so therefore I can't travel.
Yeah.
Like your property taxes are going to be what they're going to be, right? Right. Anything that you're responsible for, it's like, oh my God, I can't travel because my car insurance is high. Well, what did you do to get there? Was it a series of speeding tickets? Was it accidents? Was it a brand new car? Was it a very high performance car with a bad driving record? I mean,
yeah,
but it's the root of it is that you're choosing this. But yeah, whenever I hear the keywords of gas prices, I completely people waste more money, doing nonsense with their money than they'd actually like putting full tank of gas in and going to somebody that they want to be with, Yeah. And it's always like, oh, gas prices, but then they go blow money on lottery tickets or whatever. And if that's your jam, that's your jam. But it's like, what's the likelihood you're going to, and also though, it's the behavior of it, like the habit you're creating for yourself.
It's all excuses and justifiable things, some people, because they've made it difficult to, quit smoking because they've made those addicting. I mean, whatever it is, there's always going to be some reason or excuse for everything. It just really is. And,
and it's like after, it's like there's a highly acclaimed professional speaker out there that talks about like the years of your lives in terms of, how many, like whatever traditions, like let's say every year you go up to a cabin, right? And based on the life cycle or the longevity about how long people last, he breaks it down into like, we only got like 25 more Memorial Days together, right? Like break it down into those things instead of like something that's very conceptual, but you can't relate to, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, when you break it down, like, hey, we're only going to have 10 more hunting trips. That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
that really brings it. Now that approach may not work for everybody, but it definitely would make me stop think to be like, holy crap, we're only going to get together a few more times.
Yeah. It's a matter of perspective, but then getting down to the nitty gritty when you want to look at things, it's just like I had a mishap 3 hours into my trip, brake failure, and I lucked out and everything's safe and whatever, but I'm just thankful it happened when it happened, and it was just, but it's not going to stop my trip or whatever. It's just shit happens. And then you could just be grateful that things happen the way they do instead of, that I could have stayed at home and said, but I don't think I'm going to take this trip. you just got to go and do and live as best as you can with the time we've got left. So it brings it all perspective as far as, yeah, you get older, shit happens. I mean, it's,
If you don't do anything, you're still taking a risk. So why
yeah,
not play the
yeah,
odds and
right.
take a risk?
I mean, you could stay in your house and a plane can crash on your house. I mean, like, you can eat all the vegetables you want. You can eat all of the healthy stuff. You're still going to die.
Right.
You can't
Yep.
stop the inevitable from happening. So
Correct.
why not take your chance and be free and do things that, it is the power of living now.
Yep.
And living with, let me experiment, let me experience, let me do these things, and not always having such a huge agenda. Sometimes just things, even when you're taking a Sunday drive or something, you're like, let me turn here, let me turn there. What's wrong with just going and seeing what's going to happen? What's behind
Yeah.
this door, what's behind that door?
Several years ago with my ex, we went to North Carolina, and it was for a family reunion on her side, and which was great, but it was it was so damn structured that, to me, this day and age doesn't equate to a very fun time. You know what I mean? Now, granted, it wasn't my family, but I'm still along for the experience, and I chose to go. Right. So,
Yeah.
Hey, Chip,
Yep.
what will never die, just multiply. Yeah. Well, and it's like, it'll multiply, it'll run through one person to the next, so if it's not you, it's going to be all these other people. So when we were out there, it was so structured, and I mean, there was cool things, like the NASCAR museum and Hendricks Motorsports, which is in NASCAR, and they've created a legacy of drivers and championships and stuff. But it was the part that got to me. Now, I could be creating this in my brain, or maybe I did, but it was like, number one, it was so structured that it's like every day of that whole vacation, there was something to do, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't any days just open,
Well, I think people don't realize that your body, I mean, your mind is one thing, but your body will react to whatever your mind's thinking. So if you structure things so precisely to a science on a trip and things like that, and like, I won't lie, I had 4 hours breakdown with my vehicle, and it wasn't part of my structure. I wanted to drive. I ended up still driving that day 600 miles because I wanted to do so many. It was a long 12-hour day, but the thing is if you don't give yourself any room for error or room for wiggle room, the wiggle that I love to have, if you don't have that wiggle room, you're really you're missing the point of being right now. Don't give a shit of what your schedule is going to be. I mean, you're here right now. Screw the schedule. Deal with right now and let the rest flow. And that's what it reminded me. It was like, I want to get to this hotel right away and this and that. I even canceled my hotel because I wasn't sure. But I was like, whatever the adventure, I might be in this town for the weekend. I don't know. Or for the week. I don't know. But, I was like, I had to release and let go because you can't control everything in your life. You have, if you think you can control everything, you got another thing coming.
Well, out of that, it was event. What irritated me the most is, now, granted, I'm along for the ride. I chose to be there, but it's like, okay, integrity is very important to me. Where it's like, okay, if we need to be up by a certain time, I don't want to be that person that's going to hold back, my girlfriend's family from doing all that they've planned to do. Right.
Right.
So if we're ready, that's one thing. But then all of a sudden, if there's concessions made, if we're ready and they're ready, okay, we're good to go, right? But it's like, if they expect us to be ready, but they're not ready, and they're okay with that, I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because how can it now? Could I be a little bit I don't know, retentive with that thought? Perhaps, but it's like, well, don't. Or you make concessions where it's like, okay, it's 8:15 and 8:30 and I haven't had breakfast yet. And it's just like, well, wait a minute. Why do we have to abide by the rules that you made up, by the way?
Right.
And the ones that you You told us what time to be ready, but you're not ready. Okay, if it's 1 or 2 days, got it. But if it happens more frequently and it turns into longer days as a result of somebody that said something that they don't want to commit to, I got a problem with that.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work for me that you hold us to this standard, but then you want to renege on the standard. That doesn't work.
Well, and that's why if you're going to plan so many activities with a bunch of people, you could say these are the activities, you know, and compromise where it's like, okay, can we do this around 10 o'clock or this or that? You know, give it a pool so that you're not keeping yourself constructed to a certain time, or people not be, you can't, like you said, you can't be too anal retentive, but you got to like collectively have ideas. And it's just like a game night, right? You might have Monopoly, Sorry, you know, Candyland or whatever. You have these choices. Let everybody pick what choice. You don't say at 8 o'clock we play this, 9 o'clock we play this, 10 o'clock we play that. And there's no wavering from the schedule. So, I mean, you know, it really is the matter of structure. And it's a matter of maybe somebody doesn't want to play that game or this or that. You know, choices and activities as possibilities. Or you have plan B where it's like, what's everybody want to do? Just stand around here and have beer? I mean,
and especially when it's like you're cutting all in advance and then adapt to it accordingly, right? Mm-hmm. If everybody's exhausted, they got way too much sun, they really push the envelope with all this different stuff, well, then adjust it accordingly. Hey, Tim.
Yeah. Hi,
adjust
Tim.
it accordingly, you know, but don't have it be so rigid that, you know, it's like if you're creating all this for us and you're not willing to even comply with it, how do you know how you're going to feel on those days?
Exactly.
Some days you're just going to want to have it be a slow day, and you might get going at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Absolutely. You got to.
Is there anything wrong with that?
No, but you should really check is to make sure anybody got diarrhea or anybody got this or that. Should we worry about somebody staying home? I mean, no, you got to come on that raft. I don't care if you got that problem. You know, like you really have to have, you know, don't conform, but have some ideas and have flexibility. I mean, the structure thing, especially on adventures like that, are not cool.
Right.
So,
well, there was just a couple, you know, obviously, you know, the holiday put us into June, so we're, it's almost summer, officially summer here in a few days, but we're doing, you know, today and tomorrow would just be one-off shows. So I figured, I'm like, you know, it could be from years past, but I'm like, there was like 2 distinctive lessons that I learned over the past couple days. And the number one is which kind of comes from maintaining professional audio gear or lawn mowing equipment or anything that, you know, if you don't maintain it, it's going to break down. Right. So you either choose to schedule your downtime or your body will choose it for you, is really the expression. And, you know, if you're working so hard or if you sacrifice a little time off to attend to yourself and to go on that trip that you know, may not want to go on, or you can't conceive, you know, not shaving for 5 days and being out in the woods and not having any cell phone coverage, schedule your downtime, whatever that may look like, before your body schedules it for you through a stay in the hospital or laid up in bed, you know, whatever that is, you know, and this is coming from somebody that works all the time. But I can honestly say is that if you don't say yes to that, your body will tell you, and more than likely it won't be in a pleasant way. It'll be in the form of a hospital visit because of something that, you know, you're overworked, you're overstressed, you know, you get sick, you know, because of malnutrition and really not taking care of yourself. Might get heat stroke because it's getting warmer outside. But the first lesson that I learned since our last show was schedule your downtime, or your body will schedule it for you.
I couldn't agree with you more because maintain or go insane. I love what Chip said there. Mm-hmm. No, I agree because
That's great.
Till I get to Sioux Falls, that's a run I've done, whether I went to New York or Wisconsin. That's like a run I know from point A to point B, you know, and how much time, because I mean, there's just, you're doing 80 miles an hour and there's like nobody on the road and stuff. So, you know, and I'm like, Lynn, you're in a different mindset here. You're actually taking smaller jaunts. I mean, I did longer days, and I'm going to get to Nashville on Sunday. So I'll have a 8-hour day, but then after that, it's only 4 hours to everywhere I'm going. I'm, you know, a 4-hour driving part. So about 5 hours a day or whatever, it'll be nicer to get to my journey. But, you know, it's just different territory and, you know, different things and whatnot. So yeah, your body. And I mean, I didn't drink that much. And by the time I stopped after 12 hours that day, I was like, I got me a thin crust pizza and I was like, ate a couple pieces. I fell asleep. I messaged you. I'm like, I'm shot. And I actually slept in. So I'm like, Lynn, sleep in, like giving myself permission. Because I get on the road. I'm used to just going and not stopping and smelling the roses or anything. I'm like, Lynn, you can't do that this trip. You're on your pace. You're on your time. And I mean, I'm even earlier today, I'm trying to book a hotel for Sunday. And usually just some quick tips on hotels and stuff. Usually Sunday through Thursdays is more the reasonable price to get your rooms, because Friday and Saturday nights are the most expensive no matter where you go, whatever. There's no wiggle room there. But you know, I'm like, for Sunday, I mean, to stay in Nashville, I'm already going, I don't think I want to stay in Nashville, and I might just stay on the outskirts of Nashville. I'm supposed to meet somebody there, but I'm going to do what I feel. I'm not going to get anxiety about, you know, staying downtown or doing this and that. So I'm just giving myself permission to just listen to my intuition and just go with the flow. So it's different for me. It's going to be different. And like you said, I've got to keep in mind that I don't want to run myself down where I can't do nothing then.
Yep.
So you're
what's all this anticipation, and you haven't even reached your end goal yet.
No.
You know, so if you haven't even reached your end goal yet and you've anticipated this, you got your vehicle maintained, detailed, did all these things, and your ultimate goal hasn't even been fulfilled, and you're not able to do it because of, you know, you didn't prepare to get there.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
you know, so that was huge for me, you know, is coming back into it and being on the show right now. It's like, wow, you know, life's a lot slower, you know, versus how fast it was before, you know? Yeah. And, you know, the second one, the second lesson, and there might be others, but these are the only two that are really present, that I'm really present to, is that create your habits accordingly. Be careful. Be cautious about the habits that you put value in and use. And what I mean by that is checking my phone. I noticed that, I mean, I'm around 50 people, you know, on this private land, you know, camping, and just amazing people. You know, I might have known 8 out of the 50 people that were there. And I would check my phone, even though that there's no cell phone. It's like, wait a minute. Why are you checking it when there's no cell phone coverage? Right? Just get in the habit that you're going to be out of commission for a few days, and that's okay, because you don't have to message anybody. Right? And so that lingering effect, that even though I was in the area, it took a few days for me to connect the dots, that it's like, oh, this habit is attached to me checking my phone, regardless of the reptilian brain not knowing that, oh yeah, there's that cell phone, you know, coverage thing that's still not here, right? Just because I want to check my phone doesn't mean that, you know, but it's a habit, right? Yeah. And so create your habits accordingly, because that's a habit for me to check my phone. What's going on? Does anybody need anything? Well, you know, but it didn't connect to my brain fast enough or quick enough to be like, hey, you got no coverage, so you might as well just shut your phone off.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's funny is I only told a couple of people, I think with 3 people. Tammy, because I was heading to her house, so I wanted her to know I don't know what's going on. And one of my friends, and just only a couple of people knew what was going on with my car and what was going on with my trip. I was like, this is not Facebook news. This is just where I'm at now. And this is it, you know, didn't need to throw that out there or anything like that. But it really, and then I went ahead and, like normally when I travel, Miss Laura Smith, hi. I usually call her on my travels, and I didn't even call her. And it wasn't until the next day I was like, well, I didn't feel like talking because I listening to my car and, planning where I'd be. I was just taking my trip a little bit more serious because I'm going to go 6,000 or 10,000 miles travel. So I'm just, and so I had downloaded some Netflix, Heartland, a really easygoing little show. I just put in my input. So I'm listening to it, my speakers, just some surround noise. And I didn't call anybody. If they didn't call me, I was great not looking at my phone or my text or anything. It was like me listening to the car and me just listening to the show and just, driving. And it was different, but it was nice and it was needed. I just needed that, peaceful time by myself, and whatnot. So you're right. You really need that time and realizing breaking the habits and whatnot. So I felt good not to do what we all typically do and put everything out on Facebook. I was like, no, I will show a reel of things after my trip and this and that. I'm not going to throw that now of, and this is what I'm doing next. I just didn't want to do that. And so it felt good not to do that.
Yeah. It's the way that it's framed, I think, is huge. And the reason why I framed it that way is because obviously I come from a pretty technical background in professional audio, lighting, and performance. And so, you equate that to a lawnmower, any conventional item, you know what I mean? A computer that you don't run software, you update with parts or keep it in a clean environment or not keep it next to your Cheetos bag or whatever, right? Whatever that is that attaches to you, or a hair dryer that you haven't cleaned out in a while, or a drain that hasn't been unplugged with your hair, whatever it is, right? Form whatever connection you can in relating this to your well-being, right? If you don't schedule your downtime where you have a say in the matter, you're definitive about it, nothing's going to get in the way, or your body's going to randomly tell you. And then you're down for the count because you don't do anything without your body agreeing with what you're doing, right? In your mind, obviously, so it's preventative maintenance is what it is. But I think by just saying you need to take time for yours, that's too conceptual for a lot of people because it really doesn't make a difference. No. You know what I mean? But if you can frame it in such a way where if you're in the technical field or if you're, in consumer goods, whatever it might be, find that thing that connects it, that, that if this doesn't work, I don't work. Right. Yeah. And it makes a difference. At least it's done for me, Yeah.
Good example. I mean, like Helen's wanting to know when I'm going to be in New York. And I'm like, I have a tentative answer. That's it. And she's like, oh, well, July 17th, a bunch of get together. And in there, I said, I am not making no promises that I'm attending. Like, right. I am being so careful. I mean, but there are some commitments and certain things I want to be at certain places at certain times. And I'll do my best if it works out. But this is definitely different for me to stand up for what I need and to give myself the room to be however I'm going to be at that situation.
Right.
And we don't do that enough for ourselves.
No, and it's a beautiful thing too, is that when you don't promise something, usually a little window of opportunity may present itself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Versus like when you commit to something, number one, you have no idea where you're going to be, if you're going to be past that location, if it's going to screw up your flow, but it's kind of like when you remove all the pressure from yourself, that's when you do your best work because you're surprised, number one. Number two is that you're just free flowing, Right. And so if there's a moment like the day before where it's like, holy crap, I got some time to kill. Hey, do you want to get together? That's going to be a heck of a lot better. Plus you're more present to it versus committing to something that's far off in the future. And you don't know how you're going to feel, if they're going to be available, if it's going to be a struggle, if you're doing it out of spite, or if you're actually doing it out of like, wow. Yeah. And your energy comes through in that way versus like another commitment. It's like, I didn't travel across the country to just have things show up as commitments. Yeah. Instead of times to spend with people. Right.
And already I kind of tentatively made a commitment to meet somebody in Nashville, but If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm going to tell them that. And then one of my other friends, she's a photographer, and she's probably not going to get to be around. We're going to fudge around with that. And I'm like, it's okay. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm not sweating any of this stuff. It just, it really, and then you always hear people after their vacations, oh man, it was really shitty. We didn't get to do this. We didn't get to do that. Oh man, it wasn't what I expected, because you had expectations.
Right.
And,
well,
go ahead.
Well, little did you realize, but instead it's that you get to do things, it's that you were not in the right frame of mind to do those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're sharing it from instead of like, hey, and that's where I'm a huge fan of going 1 inch deep and 10 feet wide. Right. And what I mean by that is pick a few things that you want to do. Instead of going to see 4 people in 3 different states, how about 2 people in 2 different states?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, or even request, hey, I'm not going to be able to but are you willing to travel an hour or 2 to come see me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of finesse, but at the same time, you're trying to make something
right
out of nothing. But at the same time, hopefully the other person perceives it that it's like, hey, I can't make it work this time logistically, but if you're willing to give up a little bit in terms of driving, we can make this still happen.
Right.
And possibly there could be some new friends there by people that have never met before.
Absolutely.
In terms of having to try to figure it out every time, or that, that you have to be the Superman of this trip. It's like, sometimes people might, like, hey, it might take a little bit more of a drive or whatever. And if they're up for it, what's the difference? Yeah.
Well, Saturday I'm supposed to get with Larry, Sandy, and Tammy, and possibly Kim. Cool. So
that's cool.
We'll, so I'll have to look at your schedule. Maybe we could do a little live something. We could play that on Monday when I'm traveling, or
maybe we'll have to see, because this week,
sure.
The weekends and stuff like that.
So. Yeah, and like I said, that's why we're real and raw. We just go with the flow, right? It's like you said, it's our show. We can do what we want, but we love showing up for you. So, and I appreciate you guys waiting for today for us. Yesterday was just too much for me after having a long day the day before. So, like you said, you
have a good trip too. So I'm like, hey, all right, I mean, to have good connection, to not be on the road or whatever. So it's like, I'm glad that we pushed it back to today, because I really didn't know what we're going to talk about today. So.
And that's fine. And we may not know what we're going to talk about tomorrow, but we're going to show up, and we love seeing you guys. I did miss, you'd miss your regular routine, but life does have to keep going, and you have to,
But I would never want to do a show if we did not have something that we felt valuable, that we care.
Absolutely.
I would feel really, like if we're just going to sit here and banter and whatnot, that's okay. But it's like to actually have something instead of just like, well, let's turn the camera on and see what happens. No.
Oh, no.
That's the equivalent of me stepping up on stage. I'm doing a Master of Ceremonies event, and I'm waiting for the words to come to me versus what I know what I'm going to say.
Well, yeah. What topic? Oh, well, we're here for Fred and Joe. And it's like, no, you're not. I mean, why are we here today? What are we doing today? Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, it's crazy about, like valuing all of our loyal followers and anybody catching the replay. Valuing your time more than I can express in words is an utmost concern.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus like, okay, what was that? Like what I just took all that time, and it's like, now just by them tuning into something that they're confused about, now they're viewing us a certain way. Now, is it negative? No, but
no.
Are they going to tune in again and again and again that way? Absolutely not.
And as far as lessons learned this weekend, it just reminds me that there's one thing of, even with my book, even with the vacation, even traveling, you can always think of where you're going. But remember, in time, you're going to get there. Okay, so now this is the trip. You don't just say, okay, what do I do now? You have to perpetually in life figure out what your next steps are. What's your next goals? I mean, you just don't say, okay, the book's here. Okay, it's traveling. Like, you have to continuously, move up to the next step in what you're doing. and it's, it makes it more adventurous. It makes it more, you know, concrete what you want to accomplish. Like I said, my end goal is to see my dad. I can't wait. I'll probably cry when I get to see him because I'm so excited to see him. But he's like, when are you getting here? And I'm like hoping to be there by Friday. And so
That's cool.
you know,
So tomorrow, by tomorrow, or
no,
next Friday,
week,
next Friday.
next Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right.
by then I'll be crying and saying, they got him home. So yeah.
Put down on your shopping list or whatever a box of tissues.
Yeah. No, they're already in my car. What are you talking about?
Okay. All right. Well.
But seriously, it's nice to know that it's not a matter of finding excuses, but giving yourself that wiggle room to be able to conform to any situation you're in, but knowing, well, from here, where do you go? Not being stuck in that situation and say, okay, 10 more hours, this day will be over, like you got to constantly looking forward ahead, It's just like when you're driving on the highway, you're, and I think, 50 years old after driving for 40 years, you're like, you think, shit, how did I ever learn to drive these curves and this and that? When you're first driving, you only look at the front of your hood, and you don't look ahead, it just comes so natural progression to be able to navigate the way you need to. Such is life, You need to navigate to the next destination in life, like on the highway.
One of the most one of the coolest things, and I'm still processing it, but to to have the people that organize this event, because it's an annual thing. I mean, they even got merchandise and shirts and koozie, like beer koozies and everything. And to even have one of the I mean, there's 4 people that own this land, and they're all cool people. I only knew 2 of them prior to this weekend or the last week. And one of the guys comes up to me and he goes, now you're in our family. And I mean, he's a Vietnam vet, really cool guy, nearing retirement, but just has and he's still quick-witted, still fun, skinny as heck, and big bushy beard, and
ZZ Top?
No,
not that bad.
No. He, like how some people, like when they put a hat on, it just kind of like condenses down everything underneath it. Well, if he took off his hat, it'd probably like blossom out. You know what I mean? So, but what I'm getting at is the connection is that when you truly connect to somebody, when it's all for nothing and it's just by saying hi and just being real, being yourself, there's very few things that are more priceless than that.
Oh, absolutely.
And I guess it's not for everybody because everybody's a little different. Some are more extroverted than others. I'm very extroverted. Fuel for talking to people and going out of my way to make them feel comfortable. And even my girlfriend said something to me. She goes, it's like if Brian was down to his last beverage, he would give it to somebody else. And I'm like, wow. And she said that without me around. I mean, she told me about it later. And it's just so cool that you think about others before you think of yourself, right? Oh, yeah. If I'm going to the cooler, does anybody want anything, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's having a little tough time to manage, all their stuff to go back to their seat for eating or whatever, help them out, right? Make their lives easier. So it's just having that become presence, but also though being reinforced that it's in my subconscious has been really cool.
Oh yeah. Just like, I just love when somebody opens their home to me. I'm like, I think of how, I hope guests act at my house, let alone just being very, very happy and considerate. I mean, Tammy's just been great. I keep telling her, stop spoiling me, stop being so kind. I'm like, you're not supposed to be waiting on me hand and foot, but it's just so grateful, just grateful. And, and things should be reciprocated, but she is just, I am so grateful to be here house, just seeing her. I love her so much.
What?
Come on, she can tune in. Yeah, there she is. Yeah,
I'm supposed to wait on her hand and foot. She's company.
No, it's just been great. Like I said, it's just, it's just great it's great when you meet people that you know online and they're just the same as they are in real life. It's just such a
and
great
if you take away from somebody, you take a part of them away.
yeah.
Is that if they want to do that, even though that's not necessary, it's not the point, right? It's kind of like everything that somebody does for somebody, that's worth a thank you, regardless of
Yes.
how big or how small it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you take that away from them, you take a part of their self-expression away, and you also take about who they are, right? But then obviously because of our world, people get skeptical, like, wow, I'm never, like anybody from the East Coast that comes to the Midwest, they're blown away by people saying hi to them, right?
Oh yeah, just like Montana, you drive and people wave like this, and people are like, "What the heck? Why are people?" It's just a natural thing they do in Montana.
I know a guy that came to a conference a couple years ago, and like he was like just he was very unsettled, to put it lightly. That it's like, well, people were nice to him, and he was like, "Okay, what's your gig? Why are you doing this?" And it's like, no, that's what this area of the country is. Now, not all places. But he didn't. He he's in the concrete jungle of New Jersey, right?
Where you don't look at anybody and you don't talk to nobody, or you're in trouble. Yeah.
As one of our mentors has said over and over again, because he was he lived in Jersey and raised in Jersey, is that the middle finger's a greeting in Jersey, right? I mean, if somebody did that in Wisconsin or whatever, people would start crying. Because it's like, well, what did I do? I'm a nice person, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you go to Milwaukee or Chicago, that's a little bit different, but that's more metro, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's that, and it shows, that you're just being you, but through the course of time, I mean, just by showing up as you are, you connect with people, and it's a very priceless space to be in.
Absolutely.
After several days where you don't know what something's going to look like, and you come out of it refreshed, renewed, but then, you put other people first.
Yeah, for sure.
I
can't wait till August when I get to be with you and hug you. I just can't wait. So exciting. So exciting.
Yeah.
So, but it really is, getting out of your own way and comfort zone, and I'm doing health-wise right now. I've been doing great. I mean, like I got a little nervous stomach before I got here, but I mean, I'm doing awesome. Like I said, and if I stayed home thinking, oh my gosh, I can't go to Tammy's house because I'm going to be sick. I actually ate dinner and didn't have no problem, so I'm just saying, like, you can't predict everything to say, oh, I can't do this thing, because you just miss out. And I'm just like so grateful that I get out of my comfort zone to just keep pushing out of the what we call our limiting beliefs, because everything we limit, we make, oh, but I can't do this because of that. Right. That's bullshit.
Yep.
And so it's really nice.
I mean, even like for an example, even like when it came to like playing bags every day, where we had a couple tournaments and it got pretty heated, and I mean, we weren't playing for nothing besides like a couple dollar store little trinkets or whatever, but that wasn't the point, right? And I mean, even what's that?
You want to win.
Hey, it's like if we're gonna play, and might as well go all in, right? So, I mean, even taking the actions about getting the bag set, right? Instead of it being all a pipe dream or like something conceptually that we're going to do. I mean, by taking that action, as simple as it is to get the board set up and then other people see it, oh, it must be bag time, right? And then you create that community of people that want to play, where everything just fuels itself when you're willing to do that, right? Or meal prep, right? Not a lot of people, after having fun and partying and doing all that, are going to want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start making breakfast for everybody, But at the same time, how good do you feel of those that contribute to you? Here's the way I can pay it back for everybody else. So it feels good, but there was so many lessons that were learned, on that trip, is that you just do it.
Yeah.
But like I said, those two lessons, if you don't if you don't do it, your body and mind is probably going to tell you need a break.
Oh yeah.
Now, would you rather be in control of that, or would you rather have that lead the way and all you're going to do is fight it, which isn't going to end very well? It's probably going to end up worse because you're not in alignment with what you need to do for yourself.
Absolutely. I was going to share. Tammy, can you give me my phone real quick?
Come on, bring Tammy in here. Let's see if she's got what she wants to share with us.
What do you want to share as far as lessons learned for Memorial Weekend? Real quick.
Yeah.
Come on. Come here. Come here.
I don't have anything to share. I didn't do anything but enjoy my 3-day weekend. Sorry.
Well, what thoughts went through your brain, or what was reinforced, or whatever, as you were just enjoying your weekend?
Well, okay, so I did think about I'm disappearing.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I did think about my grandparents and other family members that, have passed. I have an uncle that I met him. Let's see, when did I meet him? I was little, so I don't know how old I was, but I was little. But he passed. He died in the war. So,
Okay.
I mean, just,
Thank you for bringing my phone. I wanted to share what. Here we go.
Thanks, Tammy. Thanks, Tammy.
Yeah, she's like, let's see. Hold on, mommy. I wanted to.
Yeah,
share
we know how nervous she is, which she wasn't nervous at all when we had her on our show.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she definitely wasn't. She said she was. Okay, so
I'm so nervous. I'm flustered. I'm so nervous.
Yeah, so check this out. This was me waking up this morning, and I took this picture.
Oh boy. Wow.
I sat on her porch real quick. I'm like, I'm just glad to be here.
Have you seen this woman? Wanted. Have you seen this lady in the Kansas City area?
I was like, what? That's what I call.
Do you know who this is? Question mark.
I'm just like, see, I got a laugh out of that.
Good morning, everyone.
I was oh shit, I'm not ready for the world.
This is Miss Serrano, your new teacher.
I was just like, Oh, I actually slept good because, for me, the day before I travel, I don't sleep well, anticipation. And then just yesterday, and so I actually got some sleep. So that was me after finally getting some sleep.
Oh boy. That was her after sleep, everyone. All right, keep it up there for another few seconds because she keeps going in and out. That's Lynn after a really good night's sleep. Hi, Serrano, new English teacher.
Oh my gosh. You see? Oh, I got hella to laugh at that one.
Oh heck yeah. All right.
Oh my gosh.
You need to make that your new your portrait photo.
Oh my gosh. No, I ain't going that far. I share with our loyal listeners here. But you see, I figure if you watch us this long, then you deserve to see some things that nobody else sees. Right? Even Kellen laughed. Hi, Kellen.
Hey, Kelm.
So yeah. Okay, so I've seen that.
Everybody gets to see Lynn after a good night's sleep.
Oh man, I just still think that's pretty funny. Oh my gosh.
It's almost like she surprised herself that her camera is on.
I did. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, we're live. Okay.
Yeah, let me see. Oh, I meant to send something here. Hold on, I'm looking at one other thing. But I think I don't know. I thought, it's still uploading. I got one other goodie for people. I think that's what I'm gonna do every day. I'm gonna show you what a goof I'm being, and I'm gonna just stick them in our show randomly. And if you watched it, you see it. If not, you didn't get to see how goofy. And we might have to give prizes. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna give away some books and stuff if people find these in our show. So that'll
be the cover of your new book. That picture that you just showed.
Oh no! Don't say that. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I never finished this, but I'm going to share this with everybody. Like I said, I'm just putting myself. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, a little video clip here. I'm really laughing at myself here doing this. So hold on. Here. Where did it
Yeah,
go?
so we've been everybody watching this. We've been just kind of doing a freestyle type show today because it is towards the end of the week, coming off of Memorial Day weekend, and Lynn's on the road, and I just got back from a week in the woods, and only had one tick on me, which was cool. So I squashed him and got rid of him, and I got severely burned. So yeah,
you look a little red. No pun intended. Okay, so here's this little video. I did this on that app that Ken suggested where you could just stop and go.
Well, cut video or cut.
Yeah. So here we go. Here we go.
Just pull.
So this is the beginning of my trip, and I'm at a come and go. What do you see at come and goes here in Gillette, Wyoming? You see like tractors show up. So 3 hours of my trip, I decide to stop for gas, and wouldn't you know, my brakes kind of failed. But I'm in a safe spot, waiting for AAA to tow me, and we'll see what happens next. Yeah, so that was...
What a way to pick up a woman right there. Hey, I'm driving that thing right there.
But like I said, a come and go in a tractor, like that's Wyoming for you. The cowboys.
Just be like, hey, cat killer. All mine, paid for and freshly washed.
So yeah, I guess every day I'll do some sharing some videos. I guess if that's okay with you, Brian.
Yeah, that'd be. I guess we get to see a side of Wyoming or wherever you are that everybody gets to connect with, What
was funny, because I pulled up and I actually took the only handicapped spot they had, but I also knew that the car, I also knew what I was doing was parking so that a tow truck could come and get me, and I'd be out of the way for the gas station. And everything that kept pulling up was a tractor. I mean, it was like the theme or delivery truck things. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I got to take a video of this. And so, yeah. And they'd come out these big old Tonka trucks, and toys. It was like, man.
Well, if you didn't have AAA, you definitely had the horsepower of agriculture or construction equipment,
Yeah.
Can you got a tow rope? Can you attach it to my car and take it 50 miles that way? Can you do that?
Well, what's funny is there's a Chevy dealership that was like right over there, but my car, I couldn't go nowhere. It's like no brakes. So, but yeah, luckily I had AAA. So there you go.
Nice.
So anyways, that was a little bit of part of my story there.
I'm just waiting to see like what's next, like Murdoch or Mr. T pops out of the freaking the A-team van in I don't know, Ohio or North Carolina or something,
I don't even know if Chip is still on here, but Chip, he happened to message me, and I told him I was in Gillette. He has a sister that lives there, and he was offering to get his sister to take me out to lunch if need be, or he was really nice to offer hospitality there. So I can't thank him enough for that. Yeah, he just happened to message me, and I said, well, I'm at whatever. So, and I want to thank everybody that did either call me or message me to see how my trip was going. That meant a lot. And so, yeah. So, what's that? You broke up on me.
We got to create the Lynn tracker.
Yeah. Well, what's really cool is Google Maps. You can share your ETA with people. I don't know if you've ever done it, but what's really cool is I shared it with Tammy, and it would text her periodically and says, I'm here, I'm there. And literally she knew right when I was out here. Like it texted her, it says, I've arrived. Like it was very impressive. So when you use the Google and on your maps or whatever, it allows you to, I'm not trying to go there. It allows you on the bottom to lift it up and say want to share with anybody, and it really is a cool text thing, and it looks like it comes right in your text phone, so it looks like you're sending it. It's really cool thing for people to pinpoint where you're at. It told her when I left one interstate to go to another, and it really. And then when I stopped for gas, because it told her originally I was going to be there an hour before. By the time I stopped for gas, it basically adjusted my time when I got back on the road to give her an update of my ETA. So it was very impressive. Yeah, pretty nice.
Wow.
So
the amenities that we have available to us these days.
Absolutely. So, yep. But anyhow, I think I'm good. What's that? I think we are done.
We're done. I just, I mean, I don't want to be shared, about lessons that we learned so far, or over Memorial Day weekend, so.
Well, thank you so much for always showing up, Brian. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
I love you. I love everybody that supports our show here and that's here. Can't thank you guys enough.
How long you staying with Tammy?
I'm leaving here Sunday at 5:00 in the morning to Nashville. And Saturday I've got to get together signing some books and stuff.
So you gonna have any barbecue while you're there?
Yes, Saturday 1 to 4. We are going to. Tammy's coming back.
Heck yes, man! Can't let her leave the area without getting some barbecue.
Hell yeah!
She's gonna have Kansas City Joe's. It used to be called Oklahoma Joe's, but it's Kansas City Joe's now.
And Brian, I wish I could send them to you, but we're gonna have to take video and pictures and share the experience with you.
So my final question, and I know that a lot of people, depending on where you are, it might be lunchtime or it might be past. So I apologize if I'm making your mouth water. But are we talking like the full gamut of barbecue, like brisket, roast chicken?
Brisket, roast chicken. We're having all that, right, Tammy? Whatever we want. Yeah. Man. I think I'll tell everybody to we'll order stuff different and we'll just share it all out.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Tammy, can you guys film that? Oh yeah. I will have a selfie stick on the thing and I will do a time lapse of it and whatnot.
That'll make it worse because then we get to see like the smoke and the barbecue sauce.
Oh, listen to Tammy. She goes, "Come fly in. We'll be happy to have you."
Oh.
He's like, "Oh, he's so cute." He's so cute. Enjoy it. Thank you, Scott, so much. And I'm just very thankful. So Sunday will be my longest trip. It'll be 8.5 hours of driving time plus stopping. So I've got probably a 10-hour day of where I want to get to. But then after that, all my trips are about 5 hours a day traveling. So that'll be nice. Okay. So that's what I'm going to push for. Hopefully, like you said, we're gonna see. So
sounds good.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm so excited that I made it here, that I actually got a couple days to just chill out. We got to go shopping because obviously I forgot something on my trip that I need. So it's like, so we're going to go shopping and she has the day off tomorrow. So I guarantee we'll have some ventures tomorrow. So, and I might have a guest with us tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow. And if for some reason there's something you want us to talk about tomorrow, send Brian or I messages. We would love your feedback on that. And we're, on Sunday chat. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, tomorrow will just be another one-off show. It's I chose today, so Lynn will choose tomorrow, or maybe she won't choose at all. So we'll just see how it goes. But we want to make sure we give you some value, for tuning in and being a part of this.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give Brian some suggestions right after we get off of here. And I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.